Fiery left activist Niko House appears here on Vaush's channel. They are supposed to debate on whether the left should vote for Joe Biden, but they get nowhere near that topic. It's a complete shit show, and I have a decent amount to say about it.
My name's Niko House. I am an activist and a broadcast journalist, and I've been a surrogate for Tulsi Gabbard, Jill Stein. I was the former acting state director of North Carolina for Bernie Sanders' campaign in 2016.
You can see Vaush's face when he realizes this guy is like a Green Party type guy.
And I also started the largest Bernie Sanders organization in the country in 2016. So yeah, that's the gist of it.
Nice. All right. Well, I'd say that's pretty good work. Yeah. Do you want to present your disagreement with me? I have to warn you. I've had this conversation quite a few times, and it ends poorly with near ubiquitous consistency. So we'll have to see how this goes this time.
Well, don't worry because I'm in the same boat, so it's cool. So we'll see how this one goes. But essentially, there have been people reaching out to me. You had a debate with a friend of mine recently, and
It wasn't
so
socialism
everybody
MMA,
kind of like,
was it?
yeah.
Look that up. That went absolutely terribly. That was so bad with Socialist MMA. Vaush versus him. I mean, they got nowhere, and they get nowhere here again, but
Yeah.
just bad.
And so I didn't get a chance to watch all of it because people were actually suggesting that debate because of the disagreement that you have on basically whether or not people should vote for Biden. Is that truly the lesser of two evils here? And so I'm arguing that Biden is not the lesser of two evils.
Crazy position. I mean, you could argue with foreign policy because Trump is more of an isolationist, but if you say they're equal domestically, it's not founded by objective fact, and you're using more emotion and more subjective opinion.
And that it is actually the more progressive stance and productive stance to actually not vote for Biden instead of focusing on down ballot races and activism to challenge whoever happens to win in 2020.
If you don't think that Biden is the lesser of two evils, why wouldn't you vote for Trump?
Why wouldn't I vote Trump? Because I don't support Trump. Sorry about that.
Do you think Trump is the lesser of two evils?
Not necessarily.
So you
I
think
think
they're
they're almost
bad?
there. No, I don't think they're exactly as bad, but I think that Biden's presidency could be marginally worse for a plethora of reasons. I mean, basically, you're debating should I vote for? I'm popular today. Sorry about that.
No
But basically, you're debating should I vote for neo-fascism or civility fascism? And the only difference is with neo-fascism, at least we know it exists.
So he's essentially saying Donald Trump, all the corruption, all the authoritarianism, he screams it. But with someone like Obama, he could hide it behind a smile. That's what he means by regular fascism and civility fascism.
Because, well, when we're looking at Trump, he's about as loud as he can possibly be. He telegraphs all his plays. And so the things that have been happening under Obama, we actually have attention brought to it under Trump. Whereas with civility fascism, which is what we saw with the Obama administration and what Joe Biden has engaged in really since the existence of his entire career, is when you are pushing for fascism, you have supported fascism, but because of what the left or at least Democrats may perceive as the lesser of two evils or the greater good at the time, people tell you not to talk about it, not to discuss it, so it never gets addressed.
This guy's confusing authoritarianism and corporatism with fascism because fascism carries so much social repercussion, and it's so complicated compared to what he is expressing here.
And it becomes a cyclical issue.
What is civility fascism?
So, for example, despite his son being, dying of cancer, Joe Biden immediately after his son died, used his leverage as vice president to threaten countries around the world for considering lowering their cancer drug costs.
That's neoliberalism.
And he threatened them with
sanctions.
fascism.
That could exist under neoliberalism or fascism, but the point Vaush is ultimately making is it exists in any system where free market enterprise is allowed at all. I mean, bigger countries coercing smaller countries. Of course, it's terrible.
No. Using your authority and using the fear of sanctions, because we all know that there's no such thing as targeted sanctions. Sanctions harm the poorest people of any given nation. If
doing it through sanctions is more neoliberal. It's not very fascist.
In understanding the world's, understanding our influence on the world as the biggest and the most fierce hegemony in the country, in the world, then you're of course you're going to abide by whatever Joe Biden as the vice president of the United States with that type of executive power.
I agree that's bad, but that's just the soft power that neo-imperialist capitalist countries use.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily fascism. You could conceivably have a social democracy that engages in the exact same behavior. Doesn't mean it's good. I'm not defending it. Just fascism.
No. But you're talking about a decision that was almost made unilaterally by Joe Biden as an executive.
That's how an executive works. The presidency in America has gained so much power throughout our history. The executive branch could do so much. There's a reason when you have Obama to Trump, everything gets changed in government because everything done is done through executive order. So Obama did so much through executive order, and Trump could come and just flip the switch.
And using fear in order to make a decision like that could affect
Joe Biden
millions
has
of
never
people.
been the leader of the executive branch, and even if he
No,
was,
no, no, no. But he is. But he is an executive.
even if he was the president, that wouldn't make it fascism. It's the right of the president.
What definition are you using? No, no, no. Okay, so that's
Here we get into definitions of fascism. And this conversation, I shit you not, will take about 14 minutes, and then they will just end the conversation. What does fascism mean? Is what they're going to ask.
an authoritarian argument. Authoritarians can make the argument all day that they have the legal authority to do whatever the hell they want. That does not make them less authoritarian. But authoritarianism is usually inherent in fascism. And
But that doesn't matter if it's inherent in fascism. I mean, fascism is a broad range of far-right ideologies focused on nationalism, focused on isolationism, focused on some type of supremacy, whether it's national, whether it's a race. There are so many things that fit under the umbrella of fascism. I mean, you cannot just call everything that's an authoritarian regime fascism.
Authoritarianism is inherent in any system that has a president. Anytime we submit ourselves to the will of a state, we're necessarily submitting ourselves to an authoritarian system. One of the issues that I have with Bernie or Buster
that doesn't really change anything I just said, though. That doesn't really address anything.
One of the issues
I'm glad you have your own
wait, my dude. I just let you go on. It's not my
ahead.
philosophical definition. It's the definition of fascism. So I let you go off for a bit. Hold on.
There is no the definition of fascism. That's a mistake to go that route.
What are you defining as? No, what are you defining as fascism? Because you didn't say the definition of fascism. What is the definition you're presenting as fascism?
One of the big issues that I have with Bernie or Busters is I feel they're categorically incapable of differentiating.
Generalizing groups and saying my issue with them and why I can't get through their heads doesn't work in actually convincing people. And what Vaush does is he calls people stupid, he calls people dumb. That doesn't convince anybody to join your side. Stay with fundamental reasons, objective reasoning. Don't go into this stupid hyperbole and don't go into this patronization. It doesn't work if you actually want to get your message across. I mean, he's used to this YouTube debate bro or just online debate bro narrative, but it doesn't work here.
Between liberalism and fascism. The reason this bothers me is because this is the exact same mistake that the communists made in Germany before the takeover of the Nazis.
True.
They were unable to differentiate between the social democrats, who they labeled as social fascists, because fundamentally liberalism leads to fascism, and I agree with that for the most part, and the actual open fascists at the time. And their mistake, along with some other tactical decisions they made at the time that ended up backfiring, enabled the rise of the Third Reich. So I'm very critical of people who will call people like Joe Biden a fascist when what he really is
What
fairly,
do you define as fascism?
I generally go by Umberto Eco's 14 points.
He's going, yeah, it's not a definition.
Okay.
Though.
Can you summarize them?
I mean, we can go through them. I don't think this is very material to the argument. We can argue the
No,
differences.
no, because you said the whole point of the whole critique is, oh, you can't define between liberalism and true fascism, and you said this is the definition of fascism.
What's your
so if we're going to
definition of
predicate our
fascism?
entire argument, well, no, you're the one who said that your definition was the definition of fascism. We're on your channel, and so I'm trying to get.
You opened this by saying Joe Biden was a fascist for
I get that, but you didn't accept my presentation, so now I'm trying to ask you, what do you consider to be the definition of fascism? Because you put that burden there. If you want me to adhere to that.
I'm happy to talk about that.
But you said that's the definition. I just wanted a quick summary.
I'm very interested in your definition first because I don't think you know what fascism means. So I want you to attempt to define it to me before I give you the actual definition that I use.
Well, no, I'm not gonna. I'm going to let you define fascism because I just explained to you why I thought Joe Biden was a fascist, and you said that is not the definition of fascism. So I'm curious.
What is your definition?
The definition.
Niko House, I don't think he has a good definition of fascism. I saw the pre-show he did, or not the pre-show, the post-show he did on his account after he spoke to Vaush. He didn't have a definition to fascism. He's using it as a broad term for authoritarianism. He's not talking about the intricacies that actually makes fascism fascism. And even, like, as I said, fascism is an umbrella. You're not going to pinpoint exactly where things are. You use different terminology for that. But when you talk about fascism in a broad sense, Trump versus Biden, it's no comparison whatsoever. And all these things are more domestic and social things and cultural things. Talking about defending national heritage, talking about being born to serve your country above all else. Your only identity is with being American. You care less about your own self-value. You are owned by America. America is not really owned by you. You are not in control You should bow down to authority. You should be okay with the police state. There's a reason they call people on the far right bootlickers. They're okay with mass authority and any states at all, essentially residing over people, telling far right wing people around the country that the radical leftists are coming to destroy your heritage and erase your history. If you are not violent, if you are a pacifist, then you are complicit in helping the enemy. Like Trump does all of this stuff. A blatant disregard for actual party platforms, only worrying about American exceptionalism. One of Trump's 2020 goals is literally to teach American exceptionalism. The entire Republican Party threw away their platform to support Trump's goals. It's all coalescing around one leader. This one leader is the only person that can save you from all of these issues. That is fascism. It is very different from a neoliberal corporatist who screws us over still with big corporations, but doesn't do it as blatantly and doesn't do it in the terms of a culture war on the streets, encouraging right-wing militias, encouraging conspiracy theories, encouraging QAnon grassroots candidates to be winning districts in our country. It's not the same thing at all when you talk about Biden versus Trump, when you talk about neoliberal corporatism versus fascism. There is an inherent threat in what Trump is bringing to this country that is much bigger than what can be seen on paper, and that must be realized.
Want to define fascism, then why would you then put the burden out there to make me adhere to some definition of fascism that you don't want to adhere to?
So when a president uses unilateral action, that is fascism?
That's not that's not defined. Why are you asking me if you have the definition?
Unilateral action to do something that hurts other people?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Then I'm
I mean, we can
understand.
go back and forth all day, or you can. Then there's nothing to struggle about, Vaush. Just answer what you consider to be the
Sure, I can read off the
definition
14 points if you want, but I know how the conversation is going to go from this
fine.
point.
That way we have a whole.
Just wait.
What do you mean?
Just so you know,
Hold on.
wait. Just so you know, your unwillingness to define fascism when you opened by making the argument that Joe Biden is a fascist plays very poorly to my perception of your understanding of this issue. It makes you look like you have no idea what you're talking about.
But your perception of my understanding is irrelevant to me. Your perception of definitions of words are relevant to me for the sake of this debate. So can you introduce the definition? Because I was actually going to define what I believe to be the definition of fascism, but then you...
He never defines this, but I mean, when you are having an actual debate and Vaush is trying to set this up, you need to agree on what terms mean, or at least in a broad sense. Because, I mean, especially in America, socialism means different things to different people. Communism, fascism, you have to agree on a set definition if you want to have an actual proper discussion on it. And that is Vaush's goal here. I still don't think he's approaching it in the best way. It doesn't make him look any better to be calling the other guy dumb and saying he doesn't know what he's talking about. He should just keep pounding the fact that he will not give a definition on fascism. And if he just refuses to, end it there. End it if the guy doesn't do that. But don't give up your high ground by just insulting the guy.
Put the burden on yourself
to say that my description... childish. Sure, okay, then give me 3 minutes and I'll read it out loud. Okay, this is literally like, I was going to tell you, but then you made me mad.
We could have a foundation to operate from.
Wait, but I'm looking for your...
We could literally just have...
Nico is acting like a child, though.
No. It's your page. You said it's the definition.
If I read this to you, will you even understand what I'm arguing?
See, saying stuff like that doesn't help anyone's case. It doesn't help people that you're talking to, and it most definitely doesn't help people that disagree with you and are watching.
Okay, here. Let's give it a shot.
Okay, hold on. Double back. Vaush, did I insult you? Did I insult you? Have I insulted your intelligence at all?
I don't think I've done anything stupid yet, whereas you have, so I think it's warranted.
No, I can't vouch. Trust me, Mr. Anarcho-Bidenist. Clearly, one of us who doesn't know the definition of words, and it isn't me. So if you want to have a genuine discussion,
wait, what word do I not know the definition of?
If you want to have a genuine discussion and debate about whether or not Biden is a lesser of two evils,
you say so much dumb shit, but you don't even address it. You just keep talking over me.
No.
Are you a troll?
If you want to have a genuine discussion, Vaush, then we can have a genuine discussion. Or we can gaslight each other and go back and forth.
So what's going to happen after I share the definition that I use, one that's been available for 70 years?
Then we're going to have a debate. Just give me the definition.
Okay, so you realize the definition.
Now you have to adhere to this definition.
You realize the definition I'm going to provide doesn't describe Joe Biden as a fascist in the way that you did. So after I read this out loud, I want you to explain to me what your definition of fascism is, and then we can resolve the contradiction in our respective positions.
Read the damn definition.
Are you going to do? Wait, can you not even commit to that?
I'm going to commit to whatever position is best for me to commit to based on the definition you give.
Didn't know what fascism was coming into this. You had no idea.
I didn't know what
You thought it
fascism was
meant
to me. Okay,
authoritarian.
okay,
You
Vouch.
actually didn't know.
No, that's not what I said. So you nice try, but just define fascism. I don't know why we're having a 30-minute discussion.
Sure. Okay.
If it's right there.
All right. If this
just
is
read the damn
this
word.
is good.
That hard.
So the first point is the cult of tradition. The second point is the rejection of modernism. The third point is the cult of action for action's sake. The fourth point is disagreement is treason. The fifth point is fear of difference. The sixth point is appeal to social frustration. The seventh point is the obsession with a plot. The eighth point is the enemy is both strong and weak. Is there something funny?
Listen to him laughing. Of course, he's probably hearing these terms, which these aren't the terms. These aren't what describes what Vaush is pointing towards, but they're just the titles to each section. It's like those, those, what's that called? The astrology things, where people have their different signs based on when they're born or whatever. They make them readable in a sense that people would relate to it no matter what they say. So it'll say, like, I forget what they're even called. Aquarius, is that one of them? It'll say Aquarius people listen to too much music and watch Netflix. And everyone sees it and they think, oh, that's me. They predicted it right. This guy's hearing this right now. He's hearing cares about tradition. He's hearing cares about cult, cares about focusing on bad things and exploiting that. And he's just extrapolating that to whatever fits his position in his head. That's why he's laughing, because he thinks what Vaush is saying supports him. When if you look into what is actually making up what this description of fascism is, it completely disproves Niko.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're literally reading off. So
yeah. Wait, that's what you
which,
asked me to do.
No, oh yeah, no, and I'm actually very happy that you decided to do that.
You literally, you begged me to do this.
I figured you were going to help substantiate my point, and that's why I'm laughing. Because if we just look at several of those points, just right off the bat, just basic analysis.
Yeah, wait,
what
we can have. Wait, we're not done. Wait, we're not even done with the definition.
Oh, okay.
Also, wait, why are you? You couldn't even provide a definition of fascism. You're in no position to.
No,
laugh.
I could.
But you could. I could. Yeah, like your girlfriend who goes to a different school who no one's ever
Now
seen.
this is bad. So Vaush uses the analogy of like if you're in high school and a guy's trying to brag about having a girlfriend because he feels bad because he can't get one, and you ask him like, who is she? And the guy says, oh, she goes to another school across the country. You can't really see her, but I have a picture. That's the analogy Vaush is about to use. But look how Niko takes this. And the misunderstanding of this simple point in conversation makes me really question where Niko is arguing from. The inability to provide definitions. This is all making me very skeptical to how Niko is thinking right now. What's his thought process?
Yeah, your definition of fascism, who goes to a different school district.
Vouch,
Come on,
Vouch,
dude.
trust me, bro. Let's not talk about girlfriends. First of all, it's my wife. Second of all,
wait.
And now he's saying, he's like hinting that he thinks Vaush's girlfriend is ugly, I guess.
Not talking
you don't
about.
want to compare.
Excuse me?
We don't want to compare. We don't want to compare girlfriends. Wow, Niko, very big brain.
We're not going to compare each other's love lives, because Pamela, I understand you've been engaged to Pamela for quite some time, but
what the fuck are you talking about right now?
He has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
No, wait, no,
this
actually,
is like psychotic.
No, actually, what the fuck are you talking about right now?
I'm talking about Pamela. You're not familiar with Pamela Henderson? I thought that y'all have been together for a long time.
Wait, did you think that my argument had anything to do with our girlfriends?
This is actually laughable, dude. Like,
that I wasn't making
Vouch,
an analogy.
are we going to actually debate? Vouch,
why is every
actually
conversation with people like you the same?
people like you the same. I don't like that terminology. It gives up your high ground.
Actually can't engage
people
in
like you. What you mean people? What?
Not terminology, but way to say it.
Vouch, you start talking about girls from other schools, bro.
Yeah, as an example of how you can't provide a definition.
He didn't
of
understand.
while claiming to have one. You actually can't understand analogies.
Okay, and I can't. That's an analogy. Oh, now you're changing the definition of analogies too. All
Yes.
right. So anyway,
it's an
continue.
analogy.
So continue. That was a horrid analogy. Just go ahead and continue. Finish your definition so we can finish. So you can finish get roasted. Come on, continue.
It's actually extraordinary to me that every time I have this
Continue.
conversation. Wait.
Continue, Vouch. Just continue with the damn conversation. This is what I don't do these without moderators.
Why are you patronizing?
I'm going to need you. I'm going to need you to read the definition so we can have a discussion about politics.
Okay.
I'm not getting into this.
So I'm going to mute you.
It's been 15 minutes. They've gotten nowhere.
I'm going to mute you for a second because I'm actually
I have
trying.
better things to do.
Okay. Wait. Do you want? Wait. Do you just want to go?
Can you read the definition?
Wait. Do you just want
to
go?
Can you read the definition?
Wait. So you realize that in a conversation, you need to establish the terms of conversation. I have actually had debates with Nazis who are more rational than you.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
And
hold on, I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute you for a hot second. Okay, so
that's
I'm just
fine.
going to try to explain this to you. Okay, so far you have been insanely fucking hostile, and also you're not even engaging with the things that I say. You're running down a dialogue tree. So we haven't even begun to discuss the actual issue. Like the thing you came on here to discuss, we haven't even started talking about yet. Now, I can read this out loud to you, and after I'm done with that, I want you to provide me your definition of fascism, and then we will see which one of these two candidates we have for potential presidents in 2020 better adheres to our respective definitions. But I know why you're avoiding sharing your definition with me, and I don't think it's rude of me to be irritated that you would make arguments that you know are wrong and then walk back from them without ever acknowledging you didn't know what you were talking about. I'm willing to defend anything I say in this discussion, but we have to arrive at the discussion before we can even engage in those defenses. Okay? You're unmuted. So I'm going to finish this.
Okay, so you're just going to go on your little diatribe, and I'm going to finish what I have to say, and then you can go on to your definitions. First of all, Vaush, nobody's backed down from anything. I laughed, and you asked me why I laughed, because as you're providing me definitions, just a few that you've rattled off from your 14 points, I'm laughing
you asked
because
me to do.
I could go on. Do you want to let me finish talking or not?
Are you actually accusing me of interrupting you?
Okay, Vaush, are you going to let me finish discussing or not?
No, I'm just going to go back to muting you. So I'll finish reading these, and then you can talk. So if you would be patient enough to allow me to read the descriptions of any of them, but we can talk about them point by point. Before we get to that, though, I would like you to either A, give me a definition of fascism you were using, or B, acknowledge you didn't have one and you thought fascism meant authoritarianism. Okay? So I'm going to unmute you. Wait. I'm going to unmute you, and then I want you to do one of those two things.
Okay, so let me be very clear about something. You don't dictate how I decide to engage in discourse. So there's one.
Wait, I absolutely do. Yeah. If you're dodging every question, yeah, I do.
No. First of all, I haven't dodged any questions. Second of all, you never let me finish answering the first question, which I'm still trying to answer, and I've been trying to answer for the last 10 minutes. So first, I will address your original rebuttal, which was nothing that I had said at that point about Joe Biden adhered to the definition, quote unquote, the definition of fascism. Based off of what you provided, that is ridiculous.
What is your definition of fascism?
That is utterly ridiculous.
So you're not going to tell me.
First of all, I'm going to give my definition of fascism as soon as I address everything that I said and then everything that you just said. Then I would find why I decided to use those examples.
How long do you expect that will take?
Oh, sweet baby Jesus. I don't know, Vaush. I'm on your time. What's up, man? What do you need from me?
Well, ideally, you could provide your definitions immediately.
It took you 30. Listen, Vaush. It took you 30 minutes for me to convince you to provide a definition that you put the burden to provide.
I put the burden on you.
You the one who said that.
We're never going to discuss the actual issue
definition.
Here. Yeah, hold on.
Clearly, your intention was never really to discuss the issue.
Do you have any final words for the stream? We're literally 20 minutes in, and I actually can't talk about this.
So in other words, so hold on. So you realize that you couldn't actually debate me on Joe Biden.
You can't. Wait, we can't even get to the debate. We can't even get there.
Yeah, you're right.
You were so polite on Twitter. What happened?
Trust me, Vaush, you haven't seen Not Polite yet. I'm still in polite.
What is this, like, trying to e-gangster? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm just trying to talk with you about my ideas. Why are you acting like this?
E-gangster?
Yeah. Like keyboard warrior? Yeah.
Keyboard warrior?
Yeah.
Vaush, really?
Yeah.
You didn't have a lot of friends in high school.
You're not even responding.
You didn't have a lot of friends in high school.
You didn't have a lot of friends in high school, did you, Vaush?
What the fuck are you going on about?
You didn't have a lot of friends in high school. You didn't have a lot of friends in high school, did you? If you think that this is being rude, you're really sensitive, man.
I actually can't believe somebody like you engages in IRL activism. It's insane to me.
I bet you can.
Can I ask you an honest question? What was your perception of me before you came here? Because I have trouble imagining you're generally this stupid, and this is something you're reserving because you think you should be antagonistic.
Generally, well, if you believe I'm generally stupid.
No, I literally just said you're not. Wait. I literally just said I don't think you're generally this stupid. No, if you believe anything that I said in this conversation is stupid. Yeah, this conversation has been insanely stupid.
I mean, you haven't really addressed anything I've said. You've been dodging, which I expected you to do.
All right.
But
yeah. So that's Niko House right there. It's a shit show. This is how it usually goes when he debates Bernie or bust people. So this is a really bad video, but I'm tired, so I'm just gonna end it here. I don't really care. I think I said enough good stuff. Good night.